a purpose for you? Do you believe that life has a purpose for you? That's what we're going to talk about today here on Thoughts That Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee Wolak. This is something, I was brought up as Catholic. And as Catholic, I was brought up to believe that God had a purpose for me, that there was a supreme being, and this supreme being had a purpose for me. And I had to find that. And my mother and father were convinced that my purpose was to be a priest, to be a man of the cloth. And that purpose didn't last long because, unfortunately for the Catholic religion in the seminary that I was in, I questioned everything. And so they didn't care for the fact that I was questioning things. So I've been in a journey all of my life to determine what life's purpose is. And it's not that complex when you really break it down. It's really not that complex, but we have made it, we've convoluted it into being something so much greater than we could even begin to imagine. And so I'm going to share it with you right here and right now. Our purpose in life is to live life as aware as we can. As aware as we can, and to fully experience everything and anything we choose or don't choose. Full experience of everything. In order to do that, you really have to be aware. And when you're fully experiencing things, guess what? That leads to desires to experience even more. And then you realize that there is a power that is greater than you are, that is within you, and you can use that power to create your life experience. And when you can become aware, that there is a power in you, greater than you, that you can use, you become a conscious creator. You become a master of your destiny. Instead of a victim of the world, a victim of society, a victim to others. Because when you become aware and you're using that power, you don't give that power up for anybody. You don't let anybody have power over you. You don't put anyone above you. You don't place anyone below you. Because you understand not only do you have that power, but they have that power. So yesterday I got some interesting comments about my daily thought, and that was wishing for someone else to have a better life is absolutely ridiculous. And people say, well, no, you got to do that. That's not right. Well, no, it's ridiculous because they have a power to change their life, and only they can use that power. You can't wish for something for anyone. You might be able to be the light. You might throw questions at them. You might be an example for them, but to wish for them? Why? What do you know that's right for them? What makes you God? What makes you God that you think you know what's right for them? How do you know what their journey's about? We think that the journey is to be happy all the time. That's not the journey. The journey is to become more aware. And the more aware you become, the greater the experience you can have. And the greater experience you have also leads to what? Greater and greater and greater challenges. Why? Because that's what greater experiences involve. You can't have the most magnificent, great life if you're not being challenged. I don't know how else to say that. It's through challenge that the greatness comes out in you. It's challenge that brings out the excitement. The thing where other people are around you, when you look around and you see people suffering, it's because they're just not aware that there's a power in them and they can use it. Then you say, well, I'm going to tell them about that power. Go ahead. Find out how many are willing to hear that. People will hear that when they're ready. And you can't determine when they're ready. People have to have the experience they're going to have till they get to a point where they want to be awakened. They want to be aware that there's so much more than the ego. There's so much more than the body. But that thing that they're trying to become aware of, we'll call it the soul for purposes of discussion, it has the body. It has the ego. But we let the body and the ego run us. It is the ego that thinks we can fix other people. It's the ego that really belittles other people because we don't think they have enough. Here, I'm not saying don't be empathetic. I'm not saying don't support them. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying don't take on responsibility for their life. That's not your job. That's their job. They have the power. They get to choose to use it. And there's no one judging them. There is no one judging them. There's no right or wrong. If you think you've got to help them, I would ask the question, are you being that judge? Good morning, everybody out there. Thank you for checking in. Annette, Richard, Sarah, Jackie, Ian, and Maggie. Anyone else out there, check in. Let me know if you got any questions, any points. I'm really hitting something big today, something deep today. I'd like to know what do you think about that? Disagree with me. Hey, I know what's right for me at this moment. I don't know what's right for anyone else on the planet at this moment. So I just say that. I got Gene checking in. I got the Intuitive 19 checking in. I love that. People got such interesting handles. Back in the day, that would have been when CB radio was popular. Everyone had a handle. Now we've got social media. People have social media handles. I love it. I just love it. You want to call me something? The Doctor of Awareness. I love that title. Just came to me. The Doctor of Awareness, because that's all I talk about. That's all I talk about. It's all I teach about. How do we become more aware? How do we become more aware, and how do we create a greater life for ourselves? Because we get to choose whatever that is. And it doesn't matter what our past is. We can choose new right here, right now. Past does not mean you're damned to live that. You can choose new. And when you choose new and you build up a belief, that power that is greater than you and I, that we can use, will bring it to fruition. So JJ, my friend Jackie, says, what is right for me at this moment is meditation with Lee. Your voice is very comforting, so I'd say it's better than chocolate. I've never been called better than chocolate, but I accept. I thoroughly accept it. Thank you, Jackie. Here's a key thing, folks. When you get a compliment, accept it. When you get criticism, accept it. What you do with it, that's your choice. But don't push things away. Don't push things away. Because realize this, as much as you're complimented, you'll be equally insulted. And you say, whoa, that's a heavy statement. Think about it. There's always balance in the universe. So you're going to pick up a lot of judgment and a lot of criticism from people. When someone gives you a compliment, eat it up. Chocolate. Eat up the chocolate. The chocolate's great. Because pretty soon someone's going to give you a sour-ass grapefruit. But then to someone else, that sour-ass grapefruit is going to be great for them. And they won't like the chocolate. Nilda says, I feel I like to meddle in someone's life when it comes to affecting our environment and natural resources. Our neighbors waste water, so much watering the grass, even during the rainy season sprinklers. Nilda, the planet is fine. The planet will be here long after we're gone. Could we destroy the planet? No, we can't destroy the planet, but we can destroy the planet for humans. That I believe is possible. But if you get yourself locked into the idea about your neighbor's watering habits, You have no choice in that. It's going to cause you conflict. It's going to make you miserable. Can't change people. Can't change people. Don't. Balance requires constant motion. Think of balancing a broomstick on your palm. It's the only way. Well, that's balancing your thoughts too, Richard. You're constantly, your ego's moving you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's why people will never get to a state of perfect balance all the time. They will never get to a state where they're enlightened, as a lot of gurus like to say, all the time. It's impossible with an ego. I'm just going to tell you what I think about that. I don't know what the great master plan is. I don't know. But I do believe we didn't come into our human bodies, come into our human personalities for any other reason other than to express and to experience. I don't think we came to be enlightened, because enlightened means we're in the perfect balance. We're right in the middle. And when you're in the perfect balance, nothing or everything, but there's no experience. I think we're here for the experience. I don't know why else we would have senses. I don't know why else we would create desires and preferences. I don't know any other reason for that. So I'm just following what seems pretty simple. Pretty simple. Intuitive says, what are the steps to disassociating from the ego and truly letting go? Probably the biggest first step that anyone can take is meditation, learning to quiet that ego mind, that monkey mind that just goes everywhere. And then when you do meditate, it's a spiritual reboot. It's like a recharge. It's like a whiteboard where the day before in the prior life, you've written all this stuff on the whiteboard. When you meditate, you can literally wipe the board clean so that you can begin to create a whole new experience each and every day. That's why I start my day every day with meditation. I start my day actually with deep breathing for 16 minutes. I'm doing the Wim Hof breathing technique. And then I do 30 minutes of silent meditation every morning with my wife. We do that at 5:15. I do that because breathing brings me an awareness that life is breathing me and that life is in me and that the breath is life. And I'm also oxygenating my body, bringing my body into a state of homeostasis. And then I immediately turn into, I go into the silence by simply just focusing on my breath. That's all I do when I meditate for myself. I focus on my breath. Richard says enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is crumbling away of the untruth. Exactly. You're releasing that's what's not true. Corey says fear to faith work helps. Yeah, anything can help. Anything that slows down the ego, anything that brings you a greater awareness. Nina says, yes. How do I find that out? I'm not sure what find what out, Nina, is. I don't know what that is referring to. Ian says, when you focus on your breath, do you count your breaths or do you simply focus? Ian, I'm listening to Wim Hof. He's guiding me. I'm doing the 4 rounds of Wim Hof breathing with a 1.5-minute pause during the first 2 rounds and a 2-minute pause in the second rounds. And I just simply follow him guiding my breath in and out, in and out. And during the first 2 rounds, it's probably around 35 to 40 breaths. In the last 2 rounds, there's probably 45 to 50 breaths in between the holds. That's what I'm doing there. I find a challenge in the use of the word ego as though it were separate. The ego is not separate. It's part of who we are in physical body. Got to love your ego. I love my ego. I love my personality. I love my persona. I'm at peace with it. But I don't let it control me. That's the key thing. I use my ego to experience. I use my ego to determine my desires, but I don't let it control me, because the ego is that which wants to be right. The ego is also that which thinks too damn much, which rationalizes too damn much, which stops us from listening to our heart center. So we really have this mind and we have this heart, and we have to find a way to balance the ego and the heart, the intellectual and the feeling nature. When we can balance that, that's it. There are many times my heart tells me to do something different than what my ego or my mind wants me to do. I find that when I listen to my heart, I have a better experience in life. That's my thing. So today, what a great conversation, gang. I'm so grateful that you took the time to be with me. Know that we're here every day at 8 a.m., except Sundays. Sundays, we're here at 7:30 a.m. And I do meditation if you want to join me every morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Just go to agapespiritualcenter.com and you can get the Zoom link and you can be with a group of us. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to tell you, be aware, be aware, be aware. But most of all, I want to say I love you and I accept you just like you are. Go create a great day, everyone. Aloha.